네. 잠도 생기 만드나 드사래. 좋아. 사진 주소 중계. 안 되나? 되나? 라면에 주나 두두 줘 봐. 로시. 가서 얘기 때문에. 여기는. 알았어. 어래. 당연하래. 아, 피기네야. 피기 더 당도네. 내가 쳐. 어느새 손으로 와서지 주도지. 이렇게 언제나 저 손이나 다다래. 안다 처음도. 안다 가만 가다다. 아. 주도심도. 가만아. 주도심도 그러지. 어래 난 것도 시다 다래. 가만히 있으셔라. I think I have to take this off. Otherwise my voice will be not clear. What do you need? Once the opening prayer is done, then you can close my... Okay.
Good morning, everyone. If you have our prayer book in DMC, it's page 8. Otherwise, Short Refuge, wrote by the great Adisha. One's Tibetan, one's English. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, most excellent, I took refuge until enlightenment reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as sky, have happiness in the cause of the happiness. May they be liberated from suffering in the cause of suffering. May they never be separated from happiness that is free from sorrow. May the rest of equanimity, free from attachment to virtue.
The meditation center 사실 보시죠. 디쇼 청고치. 로아치. 먹어치.
The short mandala, please, if you have the text, short mandala.
Lama Sonam, can you please raise your volume?
Sure. I will holding the microphone. So now, please, the short mandala. Anybody have the short mandala? We have the prayer book, the mid-28. I'm not sure the same page. Sashipushi, whoever there. Okay, thank you.
Sanje The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the four continents, the sun and the moon. As a Buddha field I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha field. To the lamas who possess the three kayas, I offer the outer, inner, and secret offerings with my body wealth and all that is visible. Please grant me the supreme realization enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offering, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Deva Dasini Ratna Mandala Pratita Soa. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the disposition and likewise the mental capacity of all sentient beings.
Sarve, yeah, that's it. You will finish the mandate. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lama Sonam, here resident teacher in DMC, Boston. And so our dear founder of the Drikung Kagyu tradition or teaching in the United States, my great teacher and His Eminence Khenchen Rinpoche. Most in our followers, they know who he is. Just in case if there are new students, so Khenchen Rinpoche is the founder of all the majority in the Drikung Center in the United States. So far, so we have more than 30 centers in the different states. The Rinpoche hard working to translate all the sadhanas and the teachings in many years, 30 to 40 years. Now many there are followers, the base or seed of the Rinpoche plan. And also there are many teachings we have choice, but Rinpoche is the sort of focus of the Lord Jigten Sumgon's teaching, the Gongchig. So Rinpoche, wherever he goes from the United States or maybe Asia, any part of the place, people know Rinpoche will teaching in the Gongchigs. For example, the Dumang Rinpoche or his great master, or he will explain many recitations and meditations, and Gajin Rinpoche focus the Bodhicitta, etc. So everyone is carrying the specialized. So Rinpoche give for us and the past 4 decades, and also we're so fortunate. Rinpoche is very easy inviting the small center, because Rinpoche when come, so Rinpoche is the teacher, Rinpoche is the attendant, Rinpoche is the translator, one of the everything, very convenient to inviting every center. So we appreciate. So ours and DMC center also Rinpoche established early 1980s. They are very devoted students, small group, such as here Mary, and she's beginning to and continue, and also somewhere other sanghas like Jim Dean, Alexis, some also other our sanghas here. So those people can help here. Some pass away, and some here also continue. So we appreciate Rinpoche coming, and usually you need to rest, relaxing, because we not say Rinpoche is old, but you teaching for many years, but we never give for rest for hands up. He kindly accept teaching many places. Thank you so much, Rinpoche. Long life.
Thank you so much. Hello everybody. Now is a continuation of the Gongchig teaching from last weekend in Drikung Lama Center. Now here we have in the Drikung Meditation Center. So the last weekend I have touched basic the nature of the Buddha's teaching. What is for everybody, not just for only for Buddhists, but those who desire to have peace and happiness, those who desire to free from suffering. That is the all kind of universal kind of subject or context we pay attention. With religion or without religion, anybody in the world, for this life or for today or for next life, whatever you believe or got the understanding, everything is based on this, making everyone effort, working hard. They try their best how to free from suffering and how to have peace and happiness. There's 2 types you see, physically and mentally. So physically, peace and happiness. mentally peace and happiness. But in the world, we pay more importance on the physical than the mental, because physical is obvious, you can see it, you can touch, you see, you can smell, you can taste, all this. Because of that, we pay more attention on the physical side than the mental. But in reality, you see, the mental is more profound, more complex, or more sophisticated. But the mind, as the other day I mentioned, you cannot see the mind, you cannot touch the mind, you cannot say, relate, you should say, not relate, I shouldn't say relate, but this, you cannot smell the mind, you cannot also hear the mind, so forth. So is now to heal the physical sickness, those we need that medicine, whatever medicines, the Western medicine we call, or homeopathic medicine, Oriental medicine, all whatever you call, all those medicines we use for physical healing make better. But to heal the mind, we need the Dharma. Dharma is the direct, a cause to heal the mind. Of course, we have to know about it. Without knowing, we don't know how to heal the mind. So Buddha taught these teachings. As I mentioned last weekend, Buddha taught these wisdom, compassion, over 2,565 so over, taught. But the teaching itself, without any affiliation, the culture of the country, the Four Noble Truths, that what the Buddha taught, is still so relevant, still so fresh. It's relevant for everybody. If we pay attention, Buddhist or non-Buddhist, the mind is because, at the time of Buddha, this, the cause of suffering, and the suffering is still we are facing today in this 21st century, So it is worthwhile to pay attention to these teachings of the Buddhist wisdom. So as mentioned, Buddha is not just not just a spiritual teacher. Buddha is the master of all the knowledge that we have. Nowadays, you see, as maybe last time I mentioned, there are 5 different basic subjects that we pay attention. The medicine, the engineering, the art, engineering, and then the language, and the investigation, scrutinizing the validity, and then the inner mind. So these 5 topics that Buddha put so much emphasis to understand. So it's not just a religion, it's related to the livelihood of every individuals. And there are so many sentient beings in the world, as we can see. Right now we can see human beings. There are so many different types of human beings in the world. There are 5 continents in the world. So each different continent has the different types of human beings. relation to this, there are so many different cultures we have. No? Also animals, you see, within the animals, this includes sea mammals, the animals in the ocean, like fish, shrimp, all the crocodiles. Then in the sentient beings in the oceans are majority. Then on the land, you see the deer, tiger, the lions, so forth. There are so many small insects, birds. This all, we all desire for peace and happiness. None of these they desire for suffering. This we share this experience, this feeling. It's a universal reality. But human being has a bigger brain, more understanding. The mind is more complex. So because of that, the human being have such a powerful kind of mentality. Nowadays called psychology, neurosis, all this you can see, the brain. And because that, these modern technologies, science fictions, all the classical, the artificial intelligence, these are done by the mind, they are not coming from outer somewhere, We created, then we are surprised, We don't realize how much we create, we keep creating same things, and then once you become successful to create to this week, I turn to the subject of the Gongchig. As last time I mentioned the Gongchig, Buddha taught at that time complete Buddha's teaching, one individual to free from suffering and achieve the ultimate peace and happiness, which is called Buddhahood or enlightenment. There are many degrees of the enlightenment. So Buddhahood is the optimal, the absolute, the enlightenment. What means to reveal all the reality nature of the mind. Mind is through these teachings maximized, totally, see it. There's nothing is hidden within that. So that what Buddha taught in a complete way, as I mentioned at the time of Buddha, when he attained enlightenment in Bodh Gaya, he went through great hardship, for 6 years on all this. So I no need to repeat again. But at that time, when he attained the complete enlightenment, then what he said was, I actualize or achieve such a undefiled ambrosia which is so profound and total peace and free from elaboration, and its luminosity. It's not just mere empty, it's luminosity. From within emptiness manifests everything, and then that nature itself is uncompounded. That's what Buddha taught, So that's our optimal goal to actualize. When you study, practice Dharma, that's our goal to achieve. So now, to that, Buddha began teachings with the Four Noble Truths, you see, because right at the beginning, if Buddha teach everything is emptiness, then nobody can understand about that, what it's about, because we are grasping, fixated. Our mind is so grasping ourself, myself, I, and then all what we see is real. You can eat the food, real food. You can see things form, real form. You see, you hear the sound, smell, odor, and taste, food, touch. All this so real and so fixated and entangled within that we are. And within such kind of condition, if Buddha says everything's empty, it doesn't make sense, because it contradicts your own experience and what is talking about. So first, we want to free from suffering. We have to understand what suffering is about. We know that when there's physical suffering, mental suffering, this is suffering, but it's deeper than that. They're called suffering of suffering, suffering of change, and the suffering of condition, or called pervasive suffering. So we have to understand these different layers of the suffering, from obvious suffering to the underneath, the potential of the suffering. We have to understand all this step by step. And then that suffering we're experiencing is not manifest without cause, or from wrong cause, from incomplete cause. No, it is exactly what kind of cause we have created. From that it manifests the suffering, that what we don't desire. So this is very important. It's not just a Buddhist belief. Sometimes we say Buddhists believe this and that, but in reality, Buddha's teaching is everything is causality. Everything functions in the cause, and result. That what we are facing, the result is manifest from the cause. We do have that understanding generally, like the science, the scientists, they're investigating all what we should do, what you should get, where that is focus like business, to become a successful business, how we have to create such kind of business, or politics, to have a good policy which to bring a real good life in the country, what kind of policy we should have. That's our politics, It's all designed about that causes of condition. Directly or indirectly, everybody have to relate with the karma, the cause, Sometimes we say Buddhists believe karma is something like a belief system, is something like a culture, but in reality, it is the what we have done, what we should do. All this, our life is a product of our own action, our physical and mental action. From that action, then it becomes a cause to manifest the result. But we don't realize what the cause of that. Because we are ignorant in the cause, that as a result, the suffering manifests without choice, one after another. No? So you see, so that all choice, the choice is that we should understand how the mind is important. So there's a mind, unenlightened mind, and enlightened mind. Unenlightened mind, within that you see the three portions. I think everybody knows that, the ignorance, confusion, and then the attachment, or desire, and then the aversion, the anger, and these things. These three called three portions. They are they themselves are the non-virtue, and they are the real wisdom manufacturing all the causes of our suffering, physically and mentally, individually, into society. For just example, like war, starting war is out of ignorance, due to greed, due to anger, due to resentment. Then we start a war. And then when you make war, both are loser. No one gains. No one have peace and happiness. The person who start the war has also a lot of suffering, have to pay the lot of price, you see, and the other ones also they are suffering. So both are only suffering, nothing but suffering. Even you win the war, still the suffering. For centuries, there's a suffering. You have to see that. So, from the enlightened mind, then you see these mental afflictions. They are our real enemy. The enlightened mind can see our real enemy is these mental afflictions. So this only Dharma can teach us. No scientist can teach us. No scientists can invent many things, but they will not teach us these three portions are the root cause of suffering, because they don't know. It's not that they don't teach, but they don't have that wisdom to see that. So you need such a critical insight to see that reality, nature. So this is universal. So this is not a religion, but it's a special method for, a special method calculating what are the cause of suffering, what are the cause for peace and happiness, and then making such a kind of, using that wisdom, how to eliminate the cause of suffering, mental afflictions. This, as I mentioned, three portions. And then how to develop love, compassion, bodhicitta, the mind of the enlightenment, bodhicitta. So these three are so important to bring the mind of the love, compassion, bodhicitta. And you see, every sentient being, as last time I mentioned, every sentient being has love and compassion. And there's special awareness in the mind, there is. But we are temporarily under the condition of the adventitious, defilement. As long as this adventitious defilement, obscuration is there, then our clarity of mind is obscured. So that we need this wisdom, these teachings, how to dispel from the mind. To do this is not just a spiritual. Sometimes people think it's a spiritual, no? Oh, this is chanting mantra, this is a spiritual. It's not really spiritual. Or you can say it's a spiritual, but in reality, it's how to, practically how to apply, how to eliminate these cause of suffering, and how to apply these wisdoms, to increase, you see. So to do these practices, there's so many methods, you see. So a lot of those methods, sometimes we can say it's a Buddhist tradition. On that tradition, you can say, oh, this is a meditation, this and that. You can use those terminologies. In reality, these all methods are direct way how to handle our, how to reduce the cause of suffering, and how to increase, multiply the cause for peace and happiness. That is known. So as Buddha taught this thoroughly, completely, so in the Gongchig, Lord Jigten Sumgon taught that. So Lord Jigten Sumgon taught directly, completely as Buddha taught. That's why the Gongchig is very important. It doesn't talk about so much tenet system. Otherwise, we are put so much emphasis on this belief that, this is their way, this is these things. This all Buddha taught to step by step, like a child growing. First the baby, how much the baby can chew the food, eat, digest, slowly growing, teenage, then in the 20s, then digest all the gross food, So, but as a baby, first born, cannot chew all this gross food, So that Buddha skillfully taught all this, and Gongchig taught that way, and it's universal, complete, because the Lord Jigten Sumgon himself achieved the Buddhahood, complete enlightenment, and fully comprehended all the Buddha's teaching, what Buddha taught. That's why it becomes very important. But also we individually should have an ability to communicate. If we don't have ability, mental capacity to comprehend these teachings, sometimes it can make a wrong interpretation. It's very possible. Some intellectual scholars, they refuted, They refuted because they cannot comprehend. They have no capacity to capture the total, the complete nature of this enlightened state. So it's their mistake, their confusion, not the confusion of the Gongchig, not the confusion of the Jigten Sumgon. So Jigten Sumgon teaching is the Buddha's teaching. So nothing is ignored. Every sentient beings are included, depending on their level. Some have very high capacity, powerful mind to digest great teachings. Some individuals, beginners, cannot digest. So the teaching is taught according to their mental capacity, how they inclined, how their motivation is. Also this, so it's very important to have this kind of. In the Gongchig there are 150 virtual statements. So last time I touched one Vajra statement. No? So it's just, so here now, so maybe we should do this. That's the last time we have been doing this short Guru Yoga. So we said the prayers, and so okay, dedication prayers. So everyone is very important first to cultivate your mind. So our goal is not just have peace and happiness today or tomorrow or this life or next life, but our goal is to achieve complete enlightenment and for the benefit of all sentient beings. We have to do this for the benefit of sentient beings. In one way, there's no choice. No? If we being very selfish, we can get nothing. We cannot get even a food, breakfast. No? Our life is so much depends on the others. Our peace and happiness is so much depends on others' support. So look at this, Those are very individual mind, selfish reason, and they suffer more. Those who have greater mind, open heart, generous mind, unconfined mind, you see, it's much better off for peace and happiness. So therefore, we have to understand this. So Milarepa said, which we'll talk this, said, all our peace and happiness, all our peace and happiness is come from others. And our artistic thought for others' benefit is our own benefit. Such a great, profound, Vajra statement, you see. This I mentioned last time as well, that you see, just mentioned like breakfast we're eating, It can involve so many others. The farmers who grow that in the farmland, they worked hard day and night, in the hot summer, raining, in the winter cold, like milk, those things, the cows, the goats, like those involve so much. The people around there are working, and they produce this, and then agent brought those to the store, in the market. In the market, the people are working hard to prepare all this, and then we just go there to buy. If there's no product, what we should buy? There's nothing to buy. So our one bowl of the porridge involves so many people that what we enjoy. So this is not just a spiritual thing. This is not just a religious thing. This is reality nature. Anywhere you go in the world, any country you go in the world, just look at this. So therefore, we have to have some kind of concern for others, at least in your mind. Purify our negative emotions, develop love and compassion to others. And when we develop love and compassion, who gets the benefit? The person who develops that. No one can take that away. If you have anger, hatred, desire in the mind, who suffers? the person who have that suffers, So we use some sense of reason with wisdom. Then we can really see. Because in this, I mentioned quite a few times, in this 21st century, the education is very appreciated. To develop the country, we need good education. Because of that, there are so many universities established. All these people, young people, they have to go to university, school, should understand reading, writing. Then there are a lot of professors, all this. So due to these mental education, then this is supposed to, that is, so should say, then the modern science, technologies, computer science, they call, those things can, but these should be taught in the university with love and compassion, with the wisdom, not just to understand the technical things, how to fix and So in the society, what really brings peace and happiness, the fundamental cause is love and compassion. With love and compassion, then all the other technical things, science and technologies, then the communications, transportations, all those things can be very relevant for peace, happiness. If we don't have the kind of good responsibility with the love and compassion, they can become also a cause of suffering, because they are neither good nor bad. They are neutral. All these technologies are just neutral. It depends individuals who utilize this. So you see, the mind is the universal background in the world. So we those who understand should take more responsibility how to share these skills, methods of love and compassion to others, and it will really help. So to do this, then there are a lot of things like meditation, chanting mantras. Those are secondary, It's just a method. But the principal thing is the mind to imbued with this love and compassion, wisdom. These are the first very important. Therefore, if I read, last time, as mentioned, I read the first virtual statement, this called first virtual statement, the innate disposition, here mentioned that, or basic disposition, or mode of abiding. I said there are so many terminologies you can use those. Sometimes there's no real good English to communicate this profound and vast meaning of this Dharma teachings. For example, single intent, they say. Single intent. For me, it looks like very narrow mind. Single. You cannot think anything else. Just only one. Single intent. You have only single intent. That's it. But the Gongchig itself is more than that, Complete the Buddha's mind. That's called the complete Buddha's mind is the Gongchig, So please understand that, So that here mentioned that the natural state of the innate or basic disposition, basic real nature, or abiding of all phenomena was taught that, what taught means Buddha taught that. So we have done that. Now here, second here, what is the 80,000 Dharma divisions are one method for the accomplishing Buddhahood, you see. If I read this, it is said, although there are 84,000 divisions of the Dharma, there are taught, meaning Buddha taught, as one method for accomplishing Buddhahood. There are some scholars, some individuals say there are 84,000 types of door to enter into the enlightenment. So anyone can enter into this, into any one of them, one of the 84,000. No? But here, as Buddha taught, there are 84, briefly, there are 84,000 types of mental afflictions. For the remedy of this, to purify these 84,000 types of the mental afflictions, obscurations, delusions, Buddha taught 84,000 types of the teachings. That's what it means. No? That's what Jigten Sumgon clarifies the confusion of some scholars who cannot communicate well. No? So they are saying, thus, like the tool of a carpenter or the medicine that cures diseases. So I'm giving two examples. The carpenter's tool and the doctor's medicine. When the carpenter builds a house, he or she needs all the different types of tools. One is not enough. One tool is not enough, you know. Just to make a table, you need so many different types of tools. See, to make a door, window, table, floor, you know, all this using big table, small table, all these different types of to make. They have different tools to nail, to pull up the nail, all those things. So like medicine as well. When you have some eye problem, there's eye medicine. Ear problem, there's ear medicine. There's stomach problem, there's a stomach problem. There's heart problem, there's heart medicine. So one medicine cannot use for all, you see. So likewise, when you have anger, how to handle the anger, how to handle the pride, how to handle jealousy, how to handle the attachment. So there are so many mental afflictions. As you see, every day, how many thoughts are coming. Every moment, how many thoughts are coming, one after another, non-stop. You cannot stop. You know, if you try to stop, you become crazy. So you have to let flow, you know. But to handle these things carefully, then there's each different method, remedies, Buddha taught, you see. Make sense? So that's why it's very, very important. So this all 84,000, the doors of the teachings Buddha taught, they are included into the three categories. It's called three pitakas. No? The Vinaya, the Sutra, and Abhidharma. You see. So these three are purposely put together to handle the three portions. No. So that how we sentient beings in the samsara have these kind of cause of suffering which dominates our life. So this is very important, that what kind of limitation we have, what kind of weakness we have. No? So reflect on this. When the mind is fully occupied, these different types of mental afflictions, we have nothing but suffering, confusion. No? And these mental afflictions cannot go away by having good food. They will not go away by wearing good clothes or having good place to stay. They become more aggressive, more fresh. So we have to have the Dharma, this wisdom of the Buddha and the compassion. See? That's why Dharma is indispensable, that we need in these 21st centuries. You can hear in the world nowadays, people have a lot of mental problems, psychological problems everywhere. Then we use a lot of drugs which are illegal in the country. Then there's those people who are using drugs due to ignorance, due to delusion, due to desperation, and they go, even risk their life and suffer so much, you know. So when you have Dharma, then there's a bit more chance. So first, that's what Buddha say, look at the suffering, and then cause of the suffering. Avoid all the cause of suffering if you don't desire the suffering. You know, to free from all the desire of the suffering, you have to work with the cause of suffering. It's not enough just complaining about the suffering. Complaining about the suffering is not the solution. It's the beginning to acknowledge, to see it in the world. Then you put all in the jail, prison, those people. Just for shortcoming, just for just a solution. If in the whole country put emphasis on this, how to avoid these mental afflictions. First, to recognize these different types of mental afflictions. And then, so how to handle them. Talked in the school, talked in the university. How beautiful that will be. No, it's not just a belief system. It's not a Buddhist thing. It's universal. But it's Buddha taught that. But you don't have to use Buddha. You can take the Buddha's wisdom into you. No, don't take Buddha on your shoulder. But you bring the Buddha's wisdom, compassion into you, and utilize for whole society, for whole country. That's what Gongchig is. Not treating as a Buddhism. No, the Gongchig teaching, as Buddha taught, is not just a religion. No, Jigten Sumgon said, this teaching is taught for all the sentient beings. It comes there, the one of the vital statement. So that's why this here is mentioned, Now, if if even a single one is missing, then its respective work is left undone. There are so many sickness. Now need medicine for each of these. If one is missing the medicine, and that sickness cannot be cured. No? So need all the different types of medicine for all the different types of sickness that one has. That's why you see there are some people taking a whole, so many pill, handful of pill you're taking, this is good for this is good for this is good for this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, Sometimes it's not so good, you say, But anyhow, that's the reality nature, our understanding. So 84,000 divisions of the Dharma are taught as a remedy, you see, for the 84,000 kleshas, meaning mental afflictions, delusions of the base of the sentient beings. There is no other method for a single person to become enlightened. With a single method, one cannot achieve enlightenment. One single medicine cannot help to all the different types of disease. With a single tool, cannot build a house. You just say a builder brings one single tool, say, I will build whole building, It's not possible, The root of the klesha is ignorance. So all these mental afflictions are based on the ignorance, not understanding. Ignorance is confusion, it's a delusion, but it's very smart as a mission. Very smart. Some ignorant people are very smart. Just for example, making the weapons. How powerful weapons one can make to destroy whole world. If one is not so smart, how you can make it? So other way around, in the confusion, very smart to making all the cause of suffering. Now wisdom, another side, that can become such a great method to dissipate all the mental delusions, take care of all the mental afflictions. So that's why when you realize emptiness, Mahamudra, then you can take care of all the mental delusions. But before to reach that, first we need all those other causes and conditions to get to that level. To abandon that, one has to meditate on emptiness, which is free of elaborations. The division of the Dharma are taught as the remedy for the kleshas. Through them, the perfection of the samadhi, retention, convenience. So means when you go through these methods, practices, then one get all the opportunities. Samadhi means meditative state, very powerful mind, relax, calm abiding, one-pointed mind with virtue, not non-virtue, and retention, all the great qualities within that samadhi. Then such a mental power. Things, mindfulness, all those great mindfulness manifest from the samadhi, meditative concentration, and confidence. Top is actually courage, ability, you know. Then it's got pure doors. Then it becomes a door to see things precisely, without confusion, and conduct pure conduct. Means avoiding all the non-virtuous action, physically, mentally, and all the products are pure, peace, on the base, on virtue. This is called conduct, morality, and completely pure aspiration, prayers, means on the base of love and compassion and bodhicitta. You desire all the peace and happiness, nothing but peace and happiness to every sentient beings. When the mind is occupied by the three mental afflictions, the three poisons, as mentioned, then there is no pure aspiration. The aspiration is just negative, only cause of suffering. So aspiration, prayer, based on love and compassion, bodhicitta, that becomes pure. Physically, mentally, you want to do everything good, nothing but good, pure. So then powers. Abandonment, that which need to be purified, all the obscurations, and realization, realizing the nature, realizing the nature of the samsara, realizing the nature of the nirvana as it is. Through this, then you can abandon all the cause of suffering, and then you see, and complete Buddhahood will appear. Means as a result, then enlightenment is there. So that you see, that's called one achieves nirvana in the cessation, in the absence of the desire, attachment. When this aversion, delusions cease to exist, and that's nirvana. When they all three, these three poisons are gopa, achieve this cessation, cease to exist. All these three poisons are absent, cease to exist. That's the Buddhahood. And it's the refuge of all the sentient beings. So that's why Buddha becomes an object of refuge, because these mental afflictions are totally purified. See, that's why we take refuge in the Buddha. We take refuge in the Buddha because Buddha has all this perfection of the wisdom and the compassion. So Buddha never, Buddha never deceived others, because no need to deceive. Buddha himself or herself is fully perfected, free from all the suffering, and achieve the perfect state of the enlightenment, the total peace and happiness. So we should understand that Buddha is the state, Dhammakaya, the absence of all the mental delusions, including this 3 portions. So usually I say, like here I'm drinking orange juice, it's so delicious. So I'm attached to this, So since I'm attached to this, if somebody takes away, I will never let go. See, even I need to fight. I fight for this, and there's a suffering, you see. If I have no attachment, if somebody comes, take this orange juice, so I say, let go. There's no problem, no suffering. So attachment is grasping, holding back, and aversion is getting rid of what you dislike. So they fight each other on the basis of ignorance. Ignorance because I have the self-grasping. I know the self-grasping. That, I aggrandize the self-grasping. Stronger, bigger, becomes very sensitive, very fragile. Then the attachment and aversion, they are playing with this. So this, they are working together very well. One individual to suffer. So that's what they are called. There are 3 cronies. They discuss, they're talking so much each other to give the suffering to individual like me, Then, so if there's no wisdom, no compassion, they occupy all the space in our heart. When we have wisdom, compassion, and they have very little space. So that's how Buddha talked to all of us. Everybody, we need that. It makes sense? I mentioned this, other time, in the 400 stanzas of the Ayadeva, the person who is possessed by demons, evil spirits, always expresses anger because due to the possession of the evil spirits. The doctor who helps him, that individual knows that person's condition. Even though that person who is possessed by the evil spirits expresses anger, very destructive, and the doctor has such a great compassion, empathy. This person does this because this person has no authority, power to maintain his mind due to these conditions, evil spirits. So doctor will try all the best to heal that person out of wisdom, out of compassion. So likewise, Buddha sees all the mental afflictions as an enemy, like evil spirit. But you see, sentient beings are not the enemy. Sentient beings are really subject of love and compassion because they are suffering so much. They want to be free from suffering. They don't want suffering. They want peace and happiness. But these enemies, when they are possessed in our heart, then not allowing to have total peace and happiness. So that's why all this Buddha taught all these teachings. Instead of resting in the nirvana, Buddha manifests in the samsara. Like Shakyamuni Buddha. When you read his life story, how much he worked hard dealing with the individuals, people. There are so many crazy people at the time of Buddha as well. Some have such a great envy, jealous. Some are very aggressive. But Buddha deal all those individuals, risking his life, his own peace, happiness, walking, village to village, city to city, and giving these Dharma teachings. So that's the teaching is continuing up until now. So now it is depend to us. At this time, there's no one to look outside of us. We individually take the responsibility to help, to continue these teachings. So to do that, we have to practice ourselves first. We should digest these teachings within our heart and then share with others. So when we practice ourselves, we get the benefit. And then when we share the others, the other will benefit. So we need this both. But to successfully share with others, first oneself, it's very important to establish ourselves, making good condition, good position. So need to do these practices, Then next is this verse. Now it's communicating basically same thing. The verse 3, the three Pitakas and Tantras are the step of the path, you see, it's step by step. As I mentioned, the three Pitakas and the 4 steps of Tantra. It is also said the 3 separate Pitakas, which will come the name, and the 4 Tantras extra, are taught as the step of the arising of this very path, you see. Everyone nowadays know, those who know Dharma a little bit, we ask the highest teaching, most profound teaching, without well prepared ourselves. Sometimes we are not prepared. Some kind of very high expectation. Say, if I get that, there's maybe some magic, solve my problems. We ask the highest teaching. Can you give us the Mahamudra teaching? Can you give us the Dzogchen teaching, Then when we get them, there's not so much we can do it, Then we just, we escape, So, first we have to start where we are, from where we are. We have to be very relevant ourselves. How we can handle, how we can digest. So that you see here said, there's quotations, in the two segments. It's called Gyutani. Gyu is called the Tantra. From the Vajra Tantra, there's a two segment. It is said, a quotation from that, first one should engage in the true repairing and purification. This means, first as a beginner, we always try to make purify our mental obscurations. So, purifying of obscuration as much as possible. And then it said here, develop our mental capacity step by step. In the proper order, so see, and at the end, so in the proper order. So they are step by step. First you, like say, if you're interested, take refuge in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Then you take the 5 precepts, you see. Then after that, there's a novice monks and nuns. Then there's a full ordination, bhikkhu and bhikkhuni. Then there starts the bodhicitta. Then there starts the empowerment ceremony, step by step. Or they are called vivashaka, Sautantrika, then Chitta Mantra, then Madhyamika. After Madhyamika, then go to the Vajrayana. So that's what saying in their proper order. And at the end, so thereafter, one should start the cultivation of Vajra, means highest yoga tantra, receive all the empowerments and practice the rising stage and completion stage. See, that's what it's saying. So he said, all you should take step by step. It's very stable, very kind of protective, and develops so well. For that reason, from holding the refuge precept to practicing the highest vehicle. So this, if one does this way, I heard, in the past there are some, there's so much, expression of the beneficial effects of the receiving the empowerment. So if you receive the empowerment, then you get this all the benefit there. So one person was so inspired by hearing all this, the beneficial effects of the receiving the empowerment, Vajrayana. So then he just participate. Oh, wherever there's empowerment, he goes there, goes here, there, everywhere, And I heard he went 30, 40 empowerment ceremony, and nothing has changed in his mind. Then he say, give up everything, So that what happens. There's no magic. This individual's effort, have to make effort, step by step, So in order to generate the bhumis and paths in his or her mind, a fortunate person should be certain that all rich teachings are one. So it's there's 5 paths. First, we have to follow the first path, path of accumulation. Without being in the path of accumulation, you cannot become Buddha. No. First you follow the path of accumulation, then follow the path of application or preparation, then the path of special insight, and then path of meditation. Finally, you can achieve the path of the perfection. Likewise, Bhumi's levels, Bodhisattvas, first Bhumi, then you follow second, third, fourth, step by step. Eventually, you'll achieve the 10th Bhumi, and then Buddhahood. Without being first, second Bhumi, one cannot become Buddha. No. Without realizing the disadvantage of the samsara, you cannot achieve nirvana. Not possible. No. First, we have to look at this samsara. What kind of disadvantage in the samsara? When one is fully prepared, the understanding of the disadvantage of the samsara thoroughly, then you start to follow the path and towards the enlightenment. So this is what is putting emphasis on this. Maker says, everybody understands this? Yeah. Okay, so then one will become a very good practitioner. Now the same point here comes in the fourth, the Vajra statement. The three kinds of Dharma wheel are differentiated according to the realization of the audience, the Dharma practitioners. That it is said the three kinds of Dharma wheel were taught differently according to the realization of the audience. See, of course, Buddha taught so many teachings in many different occasions, different places. But all, when you bring together, there are three types of Dharma wheel. So turn the wheel of the Dharma. Just now, for example, then there's a I'm sure you have heard of those stories that you have heard of, you have read. I also have explained these stories, but I want to repeat this. One time there was a young mother who she gave a birth of a child, and not too long, the child, the heart baby, was passed away. And she loved her child so much. Because of that, she cannot accept her child's death. So she was thinking, what should I do? I don't want to die with my child. I cannot accept this. So at the time, there were many different teachers who believes different religions. And she went to all those different teachers, requesting, asking to bring the life of her child. For days she visited many, but nobody could help. Finally she heard of Buddha and went to Buddha if there's a hope. And she came to Buddha expressing all her suffering. So then Buddha totally noticed, see, the child is died, gone, but the mother is suffering so much, terribly. She have not eating food for days, not getting sleep, so much. So she needs help for herself because of her attachment to the baby. So Buddha thought, what I can help to her. So there was a small village. So then Buddha said, you should go to these houses. Try to get a handful of mustard seed, or like say rice, from a house that nobody died. Then we can see what we can do. So she was so excited. Looks like today I have the opportunity. So then she went house to house, all the houses. She couldn't find any house there's nobody died. Because that time, there's no general hospital. Everyone mourns in their own house, everyone dies in their house, you see. Then everybody expresses they're all suffering. Some died old, getting old. Grandfathers, like father, mother, Some died very young, some died young. So all they expressed. And she heard of all theirs, what they said. So at the end, her suffering became very light. She realized it's not only she is suffering, everyone is suffering in the world. She could tolerate her child's death. But anyway, but still she came back to Buddha. So I haven't found in a house that nobody died. Everyone is suffering. Like me, I'm suffering. Now Buddha, please help me. What should I do? So then Buddha said, you see now, you have seen by yourself. All this dead, they have no choice not to accept. Because all their family members who are dead, they're dead, But if you know how to accept, you get such a great benefit to calm yourself. So you yourself, now your child is dead. Even your child can bring back, if suppose bring back your child's life, but still one day will die, like it did as you have seen, heard of. So then she was totally relieved. She accepted like this time. No. At that time, if you say your child is empty, it doesn't make sense, Your child is Mahamudra. She could not understand, But she need a teaching that what she can accept, digest, which makes sense. So it's not just a religious training, you see. It's religious belief. It's the reality of life. How to handle in your reality life. So this is how Buddha skillfully taught. So then she followed Buddha, studied further, and she became such a great practitioner, like this, Another time also I told story before, but also very good, I like those stories so much. There was a man in the country, ruthless. Anybody goes through that, he doesn't give chance. He robs, kills. He go through that. So one day, Buddha went through that. And then the man was on the road, waiting, some strangers going through, So then he saw the Buddha, but he doesn't know it's Buddha. He just see as an individual. So he stopped Buddha. He introduced himself to Buddha. This is what I do in this area. Anybody comes, I rob, I kill, if necessary. So then he said to Buddha, you give me your belongings. Buddha said, I don't have any belongings. I have this only ball. So then he said, I will kill you. Buddha, with such a great compassion, wisdom to help that individual. Yes, you can kill me, but before you kill me, I have two questions to ask you. So I said, what is that? There's a tree next to him. Buddha said, can you bring down all the branches of the tree on the ground? Since he has such a sharp, big knife, yes, he just brought down all the branches on the ground. Then Buddha said, it's very impressive. Yes, you are a very strong man. I'm very impressed. So then he said, what's your next question? Then Buddha said, can you put back all the leaves, all the branches? And then he was really confused because he has no ability. And he's out of his expectation. What is this person is asking me these things? Why first in the first place he was asking bring down all the leaves. Now he's asking put back all the branches. This is very strange. And also, by the way, usually anybody who comes here, they're so scared, they're crying, they say, please don't do this, don't do this. And this person is not asking anything about that. He has no fear. Strange. So then he forgot to kill Buddha. Instead, he was thinking all about these things. Then he said, while he was thinking about that, he asked Buddha, why are you asking these things? They are not relevant. I need your things what you have, or I will kill you. Why are you asking this? No. Buddha said, you see now, how many people you have robbed, killed, up until now, and how much real benefit you got just to feed your one stomach. How many people you have killed? No. And how many people they are so much crying, requesting not to kill, requesting not to rob, but you did anyway. No. So you can kill me now, but you have no ability to give me the life. So you keep destroying others' life, but no benefiting even one person. So he was thinking about all this what Buddha taught, Buddha said. Then he really kind of say remorse. Instead of protecting his ego, so he's acknowledging the mistake he made. So he dropped the knife on the ground, and then he remorse. Yes, I made such a mess, killing so many people and robbing their belongings. Still, I'm not so rich. So you see, please give me protection. Can I follow you? So Buddha said, you see, I come here to help you. You are creating all the cause of suffering to yourself, while you are giving suffering to others. You should understand this. As you cherish your life, everyone cherish their life, but you have no regard to others' life. You have no respect to others' life. If somebody comes stronger, bigger than you are, here to destroy your life, to kill you, how much you will feel. Then he really understood totally. So from bottom of my heart, I made a mistake. I acknowledge that. Please protect from this delusion that I have. So he followed Buddha and became such a great practitioner. So this is how the Buddha's teaching is about, So we all need these types of teachings, meditations. Just example, those are drug addicted. They are desperate. They have no other choice, but how much suffering they have. And life is going bad to worse. So Dharma teaching can help. Just an example, That's then we grow step by step and helping others. This is what the Buddha's teaching is about. This is how Gongchig, Lord Jigten Sumgon, is teaching. If you read his life stories, there are a lot of life stories that are translated. There's one book called Calling the Lama from Afar that I have translated. It's not so big, but it's very, very collection of the short life stories. Read those. Very helpful. And anybody who comes very smart, highly gifted, experienced, when they ask questions, Jigten Sumgon has answer to satisfy those individuals and go forward for enlightenment. There are others who comes very stupid, knows nothing, and when he comes and say, please give me some teachings, I know nothing, And Jigten Sumgon has some special teachings to those individuals to help them. And from starting from there, growing step by step. That's exactly like Buddha did. So in Jigten Sumgon, there are 180,000 disciples, monks. Some are highly accomplished, and some are very stupid. So mixed. But he never give up sentient beings. Always help, benefit. So we need to follow this path step by step, So these some stories that I share. I told this story many times, but still I want to share, so that it reminds us where we are, what we can do, for ourselves. So here now, the meaning of this is the following. See, if one teaches at the very beginning the natural state, which is inconceivable, that's mean like Mahamudra, the Panjana Paramita, or those, which is free of elaboration, to a person of lower aptitude, who doesn't have much capacity, ability to digest. Then doubts that rejects these teachings might arise, They feel doubt because they don't understand. Then say, I cannot do this practice. So if everything's empty, why should I do it? What's the benefit? I'm suffering. So to that you see, therefore, to the first counteract the extreme of the nihilism, means who doesn't know the causality. Just those individuals, they believe karma. They say, it's something like karma is a belief system. Karma does not exist. I don't know the karma. I don't know my previous life. I don't know my future life. How you know that? So those who are nihilists, that's kind of like nihilist, It's not nihilist, really nihilism, but in their mind, due to lack of the information, teachings, then sometimes you say, what evidence you have? You have the consciousness. The mind is brain. Where is the mind consciousness? Where? Can you show me? Then what we should say? Cannot show you. So to those individuals, we need slowly how the mind is consciousness. It's not a matter. It conscious something. The matter cannot conscious. The brain is a matter, cannot conscious. But brain is the place where the mind abides. You say, no? As other dimension, the brain is the office where the mind is working. So like these things, you just skillfully show the path step by step. Then slowly understand. Then the nihilism will go, dissipate slowly, you see. Otherwise, this all is inconceivable, Aptitude. Doubts that rejects these teachings might arise. So therefore, to first counteract the extreme of nihilism, the Four Noble Truths, we should say Four Noble Truths about suffering, the origin of suffering, and the cessation of suffering, and the path to that leads there to the cessation, were taught in the first Dharma wheels. That's called Dharma wheel. It's taught that this is the Four Noble Truths, The Four Noble Truths are the framework of the Buddha's teaching. It didn't teach a religion. Buddha didn't teach a religion, but the taught about this reality nature. In other words, you can say religion, doesn't matter, it doesn't contradict, but it's comprehensive. This includes everybody, in this 21st century. Look at all the sufferings we are facing, the environment, the climate change, different pandemic. See. Now in this, regarding to this, relation to these Four Noble Truths, you see, first I maybe should say this. Just as you mentioned the name, the suffering of change, and suffering of condition, or the pervasive, you see. Suffering, physical, mental pain, is obvious. We don't have to say anything. Is suffering. Aging, like say, getting sick, finally die, and these things. Now, suffering of change is what in this world. Now, all the peace and happiness, joy that we're enjoying, they are, of course, happiness, peace, but they don't last long. They change. Like I said, today is very beautiful weather, very good climate, not so hot, not so cold, sunshine, perfect to go outside in the park for a picnic is ideal, but that doesn't last long. That changes. That's called suffering of change. So in this world, we all are looking for that kind of peace and happiness. Everyone is striving to achieve that. So actually, it's changing, impermanent. We try to secure that. Just for example, to buy a car, you want to get a really good car. No, when you get a good car, no, it is not permanent. to secure your car, what we should do. Like say, if there comes accident, some damage, then we have to get car insurance. So car insurance is to secure your happiness to having a car. So I can drive anywhere I like because I have a car insurance. But the car insurance is another suffering, because you paid enough to buy the car. Now you have to pay for the insurance. See, we don't realize this. But also, we have no other choice. There's no alternative. We have to do this. Then it becomes like the law. It becomes the kind of custom in the country. As soon as you get the car, you have to pay the insurance. No choice, But still in other countries, in some other country maybe, and they don't have to buy the insurance. But here in the US, we have to have that, So you have to pay, To pay, you have to work hard. See, money will not kind of rain down from the sky, So you see, it's a suffering of change. All this, you see. This whole our life devoted to this kind of joy, peace, happiness. But all at the end becomes the cause of suffering. Our life, when we are young, we enjoy our being young life. But then, year after year, getting old, getting older and older, never can become younger. But we buy a lot of supplements to keep young, but not so successful, Everybody age anyway at the end, So this, you see, is all this is what's called illusory nature. Everyone is so involved in this illusion, suffering. So when you have Dharma teachings, you can see age, of course, because it's impermanent. No choice, you age. But when you have Dharma, when you have bodhicitta practice, you age with dignity. You age with more peace. No, not that much suffering. Milarepa said, a yogin, he said, I have joy when I get sick, and I am happy if I die. See, because total realization of this reality nature, then there's no fear. That's what it means. In the Heart Sutra, at the end, there's after the Four Noble Truths, there's no wisdom, there's no fear, said. When you realize the bodhicitta, when you realize the Mahamudra, then there's no fear. For this purpose, we are starting practicing Dharma. See, this, anybody can do it. And those who has precious human life, those who have interest, everyone has this opportunity. There's no what's called prejudice on this. There's no discrimination. No. Discrimination between monks and not monks. There's no discrimination for man or woman, races, because they mentioned Buddha's teachings given to everybody, young and old. Everybody can do it. So anyway, first you look at the suffering of change and the suffering of conditions, Even though right now, say, I'm just fine, I'm very good. My health is good. I have a good condition, I have no suffering of anything else, I have enough to live my life, the rest of my life. So I'm very good, we say. But still, as long as we have these 5 aggregates, the 5 skandha, where there is I, grasping I, where there is karma, jisi pumbu nzi ba jisi tela nganziyus, then with this, while you are grasping this 5 skandha, I, grasping, then we have these mental afflictions. And from that we create karma. As soon as we create the karma, there is a result. From that it continues one after another. So we are conditioned of the suffering. As long as we're in the samsara, we are conditioned of the suffering. So reflect on this. Now this, to free from this, there's no magic. There's no any pill. No. Actually, there's no any medicine to get rid of our mental afflictions. No. So look at this. We are under the condition of suffering. But this, only those Aryas, noble beings who are free from samsara, they can see as a suffering. But we ordinary, we don't see as a suffering. So I enjoy my life. I am so happy, we just enjoy the life. Right now I don't need dharma. I'm okay, So like this you see, but we don't realize this. In the jewel ornament of liberation, in that section, mentioned very beautifully, and that's if you read that book, you see. Suppose there's a hair in your palm, but your palm does not feel any discomfort having the hair in your palm. But that hair, if it goes to the eye, and you feel very uncomfortable. So, see, so noble beings are like the eye, has the discomfort of this, the 5 aggregates when you have. Ordinary people's like a palm doesn't feel any discomfort. So this first, so Buddha talked about these things. So avoid all the cause of suffering, step by step. And then, you see, Buddha taught, if you investigate these 5 aggregates, now the body, form, and feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness, when they all come together, it functions. It's interdependent, interconnected. It's not one concrete thing. Come to us so many, and also this body with the 4 elements: the water, the air, the earth, the fire. They have to together. If one is missing, cannot function. See, look at this. That's the first 4 noble truth. So so then the Buddha said, if you ask is there any way to free from this kind of suffering? Buddha said, yes. It's called cessation of suffering, nirvana. No? When you achieved nirvana, the cessation of suffering, then there is no cause of suffering. So, because of that, there's no suffering to exist. Now, what should you do to achieve that state of the cessation of suffering? It's in Tibet called Gokwa. Go. Cease to exist. You know? Then you have to follow the path. Generally, the 37 branches of enlightenment called the 4 mindfulnesses start from there. Mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feeling, mindfulness of mind, mindfulness of phenomena. You follow with that. All start with the mindfulness where you are. No? When you attach to your body, you look at, investigate, there's nothing to attach. No? And all the feelings are so temporary. Suffering, happiness, just alternates. There's nothing to attach. Look at this. Perception, all the perceptions are just temporary. It depends, good and bad, right or wrong, formation, consciousness, all this are just so temporary. So meditate on the 4 mindfulnesses. Then step by step follow this way, the 8-fold path, the view, the right view, right thought. Right means it's not a Buddhist belief. So it's not made by Buddha, it's right, but how it functions as a cause to subside or the cause of suffering. So this is the path you follow, and you will achieve the cessation of suffering. So this all something like exist. You can do this, meditate on this, follow this way, and then you just follow because you don't want suffering. You are tired of the suffering. Sometimes in the world, when you don't have Dharma, people suicide because they're tired of this suffering. To free from the suffering, they suicide. They think it's the solution, but it's a wrong solution, You cannot free from suffering by suicide. So Buddha taught all these precious teachings. You have heard of the Angulimala, very gifted person who followed a wrong teacher, and the teacher asked him to kill 1,000 person in a week. So then he was running, killing. He could kill 999. Now he's looking for one person to have 1,000. So he was looking here, there. It was the last day. Then he was desperate. He has so much fear that he may not get that one person. Finally, he found a monk. So he's running after the monk. Actually, it was Buddha, Then he was just running after the monk. And says, please wait, And the monk said, yes, I'm waiting, but you are running, So as soon as the monk said that, he got such kind of very special message. What he means, I'm running and running, he's waiting. What is, it's very strange, It's kind of, there must be something what he's talking about. So then at the end, Buddha was standing in front of him. He was with a sharp knife ready to kill Buddha. And then Buddha was not saying, don't kill, no, please, he was not saying anything. And he felt very strange. And he said, are you not afraid of me? And Buddha said, no, I'm not afraid of you. You are very afraid. He said, why, Because, you see, today is your last day to find the last person, and you are not getting that person, so you're so afraid. So then Buddha said, you are running after the confusion, chasing all the delusions, and I'm waiting for you to help. So he got all the message, and he dropped the knife on the ground. And then, so I take refuge in you. Please help me. Yes, I see I'm in the hand of the wrong person. I knew from the beginning, I thought this killing the people are not the right thing. But the teacher now insisted me, and I followed. So there, Buddha taught all those teachings, what he needed. And he went to retreat, purified all that he killed, 999 people. He went through such a great purification, but at the end he achieved the Arhat. His name was called Ahimsa. The non-violence became such a great healer. Then people followed him, asking all his blessings. So he was so amazed. See what Buddha can do. How Buddha can help those individuals who are confused in the delusion. But everyone has opportunity to purify this confusion if one has the proper guidance. So like these, Buddha taught teachings, helping individuals. So these are the very important teachings, you see. The causality is how we are, where we are functioned within in the causality. All the peace and happiness or suffering that we're having is the result, the cause that we have created. Or whatever cause that we're creating now, it will be the cause for the next result. Everything's momentary, one after another. Look at the mind. As soon as when there's a sense of some kind of love and compassion, that moment there's a peace, happiness. You don't have to believe previous life, next life, just in that moment. As soon as when there's some anger, resentment, jealous, desire, there's a suffering. In that moment. So that's what's called infallible causality. So when you help others without expectation, with a sincere motivation, that's the great gift that gift itself is peace in your mind. You are giving the peace to others, and how much other will get benefit. No. This whole world is function within this framework of the causality and the dimension. So all these dimensions are function within the causes and conditions. Nothing functions with the independent. That's why I mentioned everybody is working hard. But when the wisdom is missing, when the real compassion is missing, you cannot get what you want. But we get what we don't want because we miscalculated the causality. It's not a religious belief. It's universal how they function. As you see, the fire is hot. If you believe the fire is cold, if you touch, it will burn. Poison is poison. If you may say poison is medicine, if you take it, it will take your life. Because it's infallible. The causality is infallible. As you sow, so shall you reap. So that's how everything, that's what Buddha's teaching is. The causality is very important. Sometimes, when you relate to the very high teachings, very profound teachings, in this, there's no cause, there's no virtue, there's no non-virtue, you do what you like, and that doesn't transcend the causality. Because form is emptiness, and emptiness is the form. Form is no other than emptiness, and emptiness no other than form. So emptiness cannot transcend the form, because form itself is emptiness. The causality itself is emptiness, cannot transcend, but manifests precisely according to the cause that we have created. So for our own benefit, for our own protection, we should study the 10 virtues. We should study the 10 non-virtues. What are those 10 virtues? What are those 10 non-virtues? Then we have to follow according to this, That's how everything functions. So it's not a Buddhist belief. It's not something belong to Buddhist, but it's the universal reality nature. When you drink beer, you will drunk, It's the effect of the beer, It's not a belief system, When you have a cup of juice, it will not make you drunk, because it doesn't have the effect of that, to be drunk. So it's universal. So meditate on these things. First, causality. This Buddha taught is interdependent causality. Everything functions in the causality. See? Making sense? Okay. Not so profound, I'm not talking so much profound teaching. But I'm talking from this, what Lord Jigten Sumgon said. First, Buddha taught all these things, getting rid of all the nihilist. So I don't believe that, I don't believe this, then all the nihilism. Buddha brought all into says to how to become a better human being, basically, You have to know how to become a better human being. More kind of understanding to yourself. Not destroying to yourself. Not destroying others. See, the whole world need to function in a peace, but if we individually have not taught how to function this way, causality, now UN cannot cannot make the world peaceful, So whether you believe religion or not religion, but everybody, those who don't believe in a religion, they have to understand the causality, because they're working hard, They have no choice, you see. So I don't believe religion now. I don't believe anything. I'm this, that, no. And then if you don't work, you will be hungry, So you have to work hard, in a sense, with the understanding of the causality. So we have to work hard anyway, so it's better work hard for enlightenment, to free from samsara. Because we have been working in the samsara for countless lifetime, from beginner's time, all the time we're working hard, up until now we haven't achieved anything, So in this life, you work so hard, found a beautiful mansion, swimming pools, everything you have there. But when you die, you have to leave everything behind. Next life, you start all over again. So that's why I say these Sharavakas, they are tired of that. Say, I don't want to reborn again in the samsara. They want to achieve arhat state, Okay, so then what is here? Then here next is and the path that leads there were taught in the first Dharma wheel. Furthermore, in the second now, to reject, to not reject God. Yes, not to reject is, I think, the word. To make understand, to make understand further, then the eternalistic permanence. So everything's there. Yes, I am here. You are there. All this there. You just perceive as a permanence. You see, this is when I was young. When I was 1 year old, 1 year old. This is the one when I was 10 years old. And this is the picture you say when I was 30 years old. Now I am 80 years old. Still I'm holding I am. This when I was 1. This when I was 5. It's a sense of permanence. So to purify that grasping, that perception, this is a habit. To purify that kind of habit, tendency. Everything from material form to omniscient consciousness is explained as non-existence. Then first is everything's illusory nature, like a bubble in the water, the wave in the ocean. Everything so temporary. See, like weather, now it's getting fall. The leaves, the trees are changing. They are brown. In the summer, all are green. In the spring, just coming up. Then in the winter, snow, where there's cold weather. So where the place where there's a fall season, is it's changing how much, you see. So look at this. Get a sense of understanding of this. Everything's changing. Day and night, see, changing. So from beginning to the forms, this body, from here to the Buddha, everything is nature of impermanent, and everything is non-existence. Because of impermanence is non-existence. Because of, like a bubble, as mentioned, the bubble of the water is non-existent. You see, but it's not real. Mirage, you can see the mirage, illusory nature, like a dream. Last night, you have such a beautiful dream. You are riding on the elephant in your small room. In your small room, you are riding in an elephant. When you wake up, you say, I dream I was riding on the elephant. You're in your room, you cannot fit the elephant, You see, it's illusory nature. So like this, you see, everything is illusory nature. That means that nature does not exist. That they say non-existence, you see. It's not something you negate. That's the reality, nature, you see. We're not negating, that's something, so we're not making negate, they're making something not exist, which is exist. If that is the case, it's not right. It's not the reality nature. But initially by itself, everything's like that, like a dream. So we just look at this. What that does is non-grasping. There's nothing to grasp. So when it's just example, when there's such a day, a beautiful day, as just mentioned, beautiful day, it's joyous day, you feel so good. You cannot grasp on that because it goes by itself. If you are grasping on that, it's suffering because you cannot grasp. You cannot make it last long. It disappears by itself. So you just have to let go. So that teaches us not to attach. Enemy as well outside, who call this is my enemy, that person also changes. It's conditional. So there's nothing to grasp. This person is my enemy, this is my real friend. Everything's illusory nature. So make your mind free. Develop full loving kindness, compassion, and cultivate bodhicitta to achieve enlightenment, Buddhahood. That's how you grow. So this body we have now is mentioned 4 elements. If you investigate, then my right hand, left hand, my right eye, left eye, if you investigate, they are not exist independently as it is, as I see. It's all illusory nature. So non-grasping, that's what's called practicing the non-existence. We are not as much, we are not negating that it exists, but we are realizing how they function within in the emptiness. Bubble functions in the water, but just so temporary. The waves in the ocean functions in the ocean, but very temporary. The cloud in the sky functions in the sky, but very temporary. So that's why now in the country we have to repair the road, bridges. After, no matter how much you built so strong concrete, but after some years it now fades, get old. You have to repair. No? That means everything's temporary, transitory nature. There's nothing to attach. So meditate on this practice. See? So then by this 18 kind of emptiness in the middle Dharma wheel, see? There's outer emptiness, inner emptiness, and there's so forth, the big emptiness, small emptiness, there's 18 types. I'm sure you have heard of those, Then, at that time, so those are to progress individual Dharma practitioners. As Buddha's, at the time of Buddha, to Buddha's disciple is now giving teachings to grow those bodhisattvas from first path, the path of accumulation, then path of preparation, then path to special insight, you see. So path to special insight, then first bhumi, second bhumi, grow step by step. Those bodhisattvas, Buddha's teacher, disciples are growing for the enlightenment. And then there's here, all dharmas are explained as free of elaboration and profound and peaceful. They are so profound. Emptiness is not just mere empty, it's profound because it's difficult to realize. It's peaceful because all mental afflictions are purified. So it's called Nyomoba, purify all the mental afflictions. All dharmas are explained as free of liberation and profound peaceful. As unconditioned, as self-awareness, as the true meaning extra by the third Dharma wheel, which is a definite meaning, free of all extreme. Thus, liberation is conveyed. Then it's Buddha. The third liberation, all the rest of the subtle obscurations, the bodhisattvas who are the 8th bhumi, 10th bhumi, the subtle obscurations there, the Buddha help them to purify. Non-duality. The appearing itself is nothing but emptiness. The emptiness is itself is nothing but appearance. There's no separation. Your thoughts in the mind manifest, appear, you see, something real exists, but that itself is empty. Within that emptiness, all the thoughts manifest. So when you realize that, then there's no grasping, there's no fixation, there's nothing to hold on. and you feel you achieve the freedom. It's called liberation. Liberated from the duality, from the samsara. No? So that's the third turning of the So that is Dhammakaya. That Dhammakaya itself is permanent. It's beyond samsara and nirvana. There's no self-grasping, but the Dhammakaya is free from all the obscurations. It's total pure. No? See? So that state itself, since there's no suffering, suffering is totally now dissipated because there's no cause of suffering. So that itself is the great bliss, joy is called. That's why it's called undefiled joy, bliss. No? So that is the third turning of the Buddha's teaching. So I thought, if you have any questions, I thought maybe make little time to answer your questions. Okay, no questions. Excuse me.
Want to do dedication?
No dedication yet.
Okay.
It's no time to dedicate yet.
Okay.
Still we have about half an hour.
Okay.
No. Okay. So that's it. Everything's so impermanent. Just flesh. Completely impermanent. So no. Now first please physically, mentally relax. And breathe in fully. And exhale. So please reflect what we have done so far. The second Vajra statement, the 84,000 categories of the teachings. Reflect on that. We have so many mental afflictions or mental thoughts, one after another, the thoughts. So purify to all these different types of mental afflictions. Buddha taught the 84,000 of the teachings, the door to liberate us from the confusion. First, just you feel how amazed Buddha has that kind of great wisdom. And then next, you feel grateful. Buddha has such great compassion to teach all this teaching to us. So all our study, practice is nothing but to purify all the obscurations of the mind. Our mind is like the sky, and all mental afflictions like the clouds. The clouds, when it's there, it occupies all the space. It pervades the space, sky. But it's very temporary. It comes and goes. Likewise, our mental afflictions. When it occupies our mind, then we are so deluded. We cannot express the inner light because it's obscured by this adventitious delusion. Then next, the second verse you see, all those teachings Buddha taught is step by step. First, the Vinaya. Now, maybe I have not mentioned Vinaya. Then means the three training, the training of morality. And then next is the training of the Samadhi Sutra. And the third, the training of special insight, Prajna. Conjunction with that, the four tantras, Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, Anuttara Tantra. This all taught step by step. So likewise, the fourth Vajra statement, Buddha taught the three turning of the wheel, step by step. One individual to grow from the first to the Buddhahood. Buddha taught their teachings. So we meditate on this, reflect on this, and we should feel such a grateful. There is how to do all this. So you study, you practice these teachings. 라. 왜? 저 동말 왜? 동말 니가 말 왜? 중요 말 왜? 알래. 네, 저는 주주 특도 무슨 와서 되지 소리. Okay. I took overtime. So I'm working very hard, you see. Okay, I'm very excited and working. So to give the message of the Gongchig teaching to everybody. Okay. So now, please say some dedication prayer. You're not telling me about the time, you know. It's your mistake.
I'll take the mistake. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root and lineage laws, divine assembly of Yidam deities and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, yogins, yoginis, dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana and the innate root of virtue not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth...
That's finished.
I'm finished? Okay.
Thank you, everyone. See you 2:30.
Thank you.
Oh, is it 2:30 instead of 2 o'clock? Lama Sonam La?
Yes, because right now we bonus already 45 minutes. So this
We love it.
okay.
Yes, we will notify all the translator to please come back at 2:30, which is now 11:48 Boston time.
Yes.
So 2:30 Eastern time. Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, Lama Sonam. It was a beautiful teaching.
Yes, yes. My teachings are for enlightenment.
Yes, and thank you, translators. Please have a break and please come back.
Okay, 2:30. Then we have a lot of work to do today, tomorrow.
Yes, thank you, hosts. Thank you, all the co-hosts, for making this. And we will turn off the Zoom. Yes, end the meeting, and please come back. Yes, like 2 p.m. Eastern, because the teaching program will start at 2:30.